This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
Good evening and welcome into Friday Night Football. I'm Ryan Compo. We'll hear from Sabrina Hoover in just a bit. We've reached the halfway point of the high school football season. Time flies when you're having fun. Am I right? Our final week before district games begin for some. Others, the last test before their bye week. For the second straight week, the Central Bobcats out on the road looking to gain some momentum heading into a bye week, then district beginning in 2 weeks. Bobcats over in Abilene taking on the Wiley Bulldogs, looking to spoil their homecoming. First quarter, Meng throwing it around. This time, Riley Robinson back in the end zone. Bulldogs lead 10-0. Second quarter, Wiley snaps it. Malachi Daniels follows his blockers. He's coming right at you. 17-0 Central trails. Central gets on the board, though, on their possession. Christian English breaks a few tackles, goes 70 yards for the score to cut the Wiley lead to 10 here in the second. Central would cut it to 24-14 late in the half. Colton Farmer scores from just outside the 10-yard line, 24-14 at the break. However, the Bobcats would go on to fall tonight, 37-27. Down to Class 4A since their opening week victory on the road. The Lakeview Chiefs losing 3 straight over at San Angelo Stadium, hosting Loveland. Lobos strike first. This one, bubble screen, works to perfection. Boston Winfield, Ricky Rodriguez catches the pass, goes in untouched, 6-0 Loveland. Lobos onto the lead here. Ricky Rodriguez patiently waiting for the hole to open, bursts through it. That'll make it 12-0 Lobos. Chiefs trailing 18-0 now. Get a huge play here. Jalen Chavez. Francisco Ramirez flies by his defenders to get Lakeview on the board. However, Lakeview drops their 4th straight tonight, 32-13. One of these small handful of teams on a bye this week, the Wall Hawks, who have began the season 3-1 as they look ahead their next big test next week at Mason. Despite the Jim Ned game that saw the Hawks erase a 14-0 deficit before falling to the Indians 17-14, Wall looks like every bit of the 4th-ranked team that they are in Class 3A Division II. That Jim Ned game going up a classification just to see how good they are, well, proved pretty well. And rival impressed a lot, even though they did lose. Besides that, they've outscored their opponents 104-20. Pretty good if you ask me. Wall travels over to Mason next week before their district opener at Grape Creek. Our KLST Game of the Week, Cristobal hosting Brady this evening as both teams enter with 1-3 records, looking for a big-time win in their non-district finales. To the highlights we go. The Cougs hosting the Bulldogs over at Jack Party Memorial Stadium. In the first, Bulldogs find themselves down. Sean Jacoby, Ethan Burnell cutting past the defenders. He's in for the score for Brady. Cougars on defense. Jacoby looking for the pass, knocked down by the big man, Eli Burchett. Cougars still in front here, looking to add to it. Help of Jake Edmondson finds a huge hole, able to break a few tackles. Look at him go, cuts back to the other side of the field. He's gone for a Cristobal touchdown to extend their lead. Cristobal topping Brady tonight in a thriller in the final minute, 2016. Here's our Sabrina Hoover to describe what actually happened for Cristobal to secure that win in the final minute. Sabrina?
Hey, Ryan. Well, this was a crucial game for both teams, sitting at 1-3 overall before district play. The Cougars would come out to a hot start with Eli Burchett scoring a defensive touchdown to lead them 6-0. Then the Cougars would just extend their lead 13-0 early in the second quarter. However, things got a little interesting after halftime. The Bulldogs would score a touchdown, only trailing by 4 points, and this game would come down to the wire. Jacoby connects with Randall Mendez on a 60-yard play, and then Daryl Adair would fumble on the 1-yard line. Cougars recover it, and they run out the clock. A hard-fought game between both of these teams, and a great, exciting KLST game of the week on that note. It's also worth noting that both of these teams will have time to regroup when they both have a bye next week. Final score here, 20-16, Cristobal. Reporting from Jack Party Memorial Stadium, I'm Sabrina Hoover. Back to you, Ryan.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
TLCA San Angelo home for the second week in a row, hosting Stanton tonight. The Eagles down to the 5-yard line. They hand it off to Natavian Sykes, who makes a few Buffalo defenders miss, takes it straight in the end zone for the touchdown. Next Eagles possession, Lane Honey drops back, heaves it up for his receiver. That's Michael Burke. Incredible catch here, mossing his defender for the huge gain. Eagles ball scoring territory. Wide open receiver on the screen out. Chris Rangel stiffs armed as a defender. Tight ropes the sideline for the score. TLCA now leads it 14-0. This offense not unable unable to be stopped in the first half. Lane Honey rolls to his right, throws to strike Colin Taylor. That'll extend the lead 21-0 in the second quarter. Eagles win their third game of the season here tonight over Stanton, 41-0. We've reached the end of the first quarter here on Friday Night Football. Our 11-man highlights and scores continue after the break, including the Junction Eagles looking to make it 4 straight wins as they travel over to Grape Creek tonight in a 3A-2A crossover. Stay with us. You're watching Friday Night Football right here on KLST.
Cougar cheerleaders, and you're watching Friday Night Football on KLST.
Hey there, welcome back into Friday Night Football. Since their Week 1 loss at home to De Leon, Junction Eagles have rattled off 3 straight wins, looking to keep the winning ways going this evening. An all Concho Valley and Eagle matchup tonight. Grape Creek hosting Junction. Early first quarter, Junction strikes first through the air. Chazen Dole, pretty ball up to a wide open Caden Roberts. He's in for 6. Junction leads it 7-0. Still in the first, Grape Creek quarterback scrambles to his right. Pass is tipped up in the air, right in the hands of Roberts. He's got blockers downfield, makes one man miss, scores his second touchdown of the evening, this time via the pick 6, 14-0 Junction. Next Eagle possession, the screen gets blown up. Great read here by Grape Creek's Siri Garcia with the interception, and all that's in front of him is green grass. Garcia's pick 6 cuts the deficit to 14-6 after the missed 2-point conversion by the Eagles. First play of the second quarter, Junction goes to the air. It's the connection of Chazen Doyle and Caden Roberts once again. Doyle's 3rd touchdown of the night. Junction wins their 4th straight tonight, 55-20 the final. Staying within District 14 2A Division 1 and one of our 3 ranked teams as we begin Week 5 of the season. No real surprise what they've done the last decade plus, domination from the Mason Punchers. Mason making the trip over to 3A Division 2 opponent Ballinger tonight. Well, you can't ask for a better start to the night than this for the Punchers. The opening kickoff, Ryan Todd collects the ball, shakes off a potential ankle tackle, and is gone. Look at that man go all the way to Patert for the score. Mason with a 7-0 lead just like that thanks to blockers and the speed of Ryan Todd. It wouldn't take long for the Punchers to add to their lead. Todd this time gets the handoff. Legs do the work once again, 14-0 Mason. Later in the first, Punchers extend their lead on the ground once again. This time, Sutton Solario bounces to the outside, puts on his PF Flyers, stumbling his way into the end zone. Mason stays undefeated tonight, 69-0 the score in this one. It's pretty nice if you ask me. And all Concho Valley Class 2A crossover tonight in Ozona. The Lions hosting the Bulldogs from Miles. 2 teams who have lit up the scoreboard the first weeks of play, both averaging well over 40 points per game, and it was a whole lot more this evening. Second all-time meeting between Ozona and Miles in Ozona. Tonight, Hudson Fowler at quarterback for the Lions. Quick handoff, Christian Villarreal. He'll lean his way over a pack of Bulldogs. Lions strike first, 7-0. Not too much later, Bulldogs quarterback Haven Book hands it off to Tevin Mead. He'll turn on the gas, finding the perfect pocket right into the end zone to knock on the Lions' door. Tevin Mead absolutely running things for the Bulldogs on the ground. Another quick Book handoff. Mead sprinting to the sidelines, able to find a hole. Breaks a few Lions tackles. He's in for the Bulldog touchdown, 14-7 Miles. Fowler now back in the pocket for the Lions. You can see him do the quick read. No one's open, so he'll do it himself, falling in right on the goal line at 6. Either way they count it. Busy night for the scorekeeper in this one, as I mentioned. 40 points per game. Well, Miles in the 4th, they lead this one 70-62. Our second and final undefeated 11-man team here in the Concho Valley, the Sonora Broncos, who moved up a spot in the latest Dave Campbell's Texas Football Class 2A rankings to number 9. Final non-district tune-up for the Broncos tonight over in Harper, a team they've dominated in their 9 previous matchups before this evening. Domination looking to continue for the Broncos. Pretty much guarantee you 53-22 to move to 5-0 on the season. Sonora off next week before their District 3 2A Division 1 opener October 6th at home against Ozona. District play beginning next week for the largest district with Concho Valley teams, talking about District 5 2A Division 2 that sees Sterling City, El Dorado, and Water Valley in now this 6-team district. So here's a look at how teams fared in their non-district portions of the schedules. 3 teams will open district playoff. Impressive non-district finishes. I'm talking Sterling City, El Dorado, and the defending district champ and 9th-ranked Wink sitting at 3-1. The Braves of Ira sitting at 2-2 going into district play, while both Water Valley and McCamey finish off non-district play with records of 3-1. All three of the Concho Valley schools in this district will look to start 1-0 next week. El Dorado hosting 9th-ranked Wink. That'll be a good one. Former six-man powerhouses meeting up. Sterling City hosting Water Valley. McCamey was able to pick up a non-district game when they traveled to La Mesa, and Ira their bye week takes place next week. All right, so we've hit the halftime here on Friday Night Football. Time to grab some water, maybe a cup of coffee. Who knows? 11-man highlights and scores are complete. Now it's time to turn our attention to the 6-man ranks, including a battle of unbeatens tonight in very best. The 4-0 Falcons hosting the 3-0 Panthers from Valeray Panther Creek. Stay with us. You're watching Friday Night Football right here on KLST.
You're watching Friday Night Football on KLST.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football. We begin our 6-man highlights and recaps from this evening with the lone undefeated team here in the 6-man ranks in the Concho Valley, the very best Falcons, looking to keep earning the respect they deserve. A battle of unbeatens in very best 4-0 Falcons hosting 3-0 Valeray Panther Creek. Falcons trailing in the first, but answers quick. Lane Howard takes the pitch, gets outside to the edge, and is gone. Walks his way into the end zone to tie things up at 7 apiece. Next Falcons possession, this time Clyde Hallmark handing it off, leading blocking for Bryce Martin. Martin gets the gap, tucks his way into the end zone for another Falcon touchdown. Very best in Panther territory once again. Hallmark muffs the snap, picks it up, lets Bryce Martin do the rest, runs through 2 arm tackles, scores his second touchdown of the game. Very best Falcons. They move to 5-0, 55-6 to stay undefeated. Staying within District 13-1A Division 1, the Robert Lee Steers picked up their second straight a week ago at home against Blackwell, dominating from start to finish in that one. Robert Lee back home tonight hosting Zephyr, first meeting since 2011, battle of 3-1 teams. Steers strike first in this one. Robert Lee goes to the air, great catch. That's Wyatt Bosworth, gets a foot in bounds, 8-0 Steers. Robert Lee extends their lead. Brody Pitcock, the pitch out to Braden Sherwood, finds a hole into the end zone, 16-0 Steers. Second quarter now, the duo does it again. Pitcock with the pitch back. Braden will plow it away into the end zone. Robert Lee wins their third straight tonight, 52-35 the final. Over in Pretty this evening, the Menard Yellow Jackets looking to make it their third straight victory, and they do just that. 49-0 the final. An all Concho Valley 6-man matchup tonight. Bront Eden coming away with their second straight victory, 42-32 the final in that one. All right, we wrap up our Week 5 highlights and scores tonight with the Paint Rock Indians, winners of 2 straight, both of which on the road. Welcome home, Paint Rock. They hosted Lone tonight, looking for their third straight win, opening minute of the game. Indians get on the board first. Brian Harridge sheds off a tackler, keeps his legs chugging into the end zone, 8-0 Paint Rock. Just a couple minutes later, Paint Rock extending their lead. Colby Rogers pitches it back. Jaden Hernandez makes a man miss early, turns on the Jets, zooming right by the camera, and in for the touchdown, 16-0 Indians. Just over a minute left in the first, the Indians go to the air. The lefty, Jaden Hernandez, finds a wide open Elijah Ruiz storming down the sidelines. One man to beat, but wait. Oh no, the ball falls out. What shall we do? Have no fear. Elijah Ruiz is here. He's in for 6. Paint Rock wins their third straight, 53-0 in a shutout. We're through 3 quarters here on Friday Night Football. That'll do it for our highlights and scores from a busy night around the Gridiron and Concho Valley. Coming up, we'll put a bow on Week 5. We'll look at some spotlight games for Week 6. All right, welcome back to Friday Night Football. Before we put a bow on the end of Week 5 of the Texas high school football season here in the Concho Valley, some headlines from this evening's slate of games around the area. We started the night with 3 undefeated teams here in the Concho Valley. How about that? They go perfect 3 for 3. Sonora, Mason, very best, all moving to 5-0 after their victories this evening. Sonora and Mason dominant on the road. Very best dominant at home. We've got some hot teams right now here in the Concho Valley. Junction winning its 4th straight tonight. Menard, Paint Rock, and Robert Lee all picking up 3rd consecutive wins as well. And finally, it gets real starting next week for some. District play beginning for District 5-2A Division 2 for Sterling City, El Dorado, and Water Valley. All right, Week 6, the temperature of the high school football season begins to rise as hopefully Chris Boone brings us cooler temperatures. Next week kicks off on a Thursday. Menard traveling to Natchez Canyon. Friday night, much smaller sample size since the vast majority of teams are on a bye next week, but Lakeview hitting the road to next week to take on the Rangers of Midland Greenwood. That game Lakeview fell in their matchup 31-6 a year ago. Collision of two of the best teams here in the Concho Valley meeting at the Puncher Dome next Friday night. Mason hosts 4th-ranked Wall. District 5 2A openers, as I mentioned, for El Dorado when they host 9th-ranked Wink. And then Sterling City hosts Water Valley in a matchup of former 6-man powerhouses, now turned district rivals. And finally, a little tease here for you folks. KLST Game of the Week, one of the best rivalries in West Texas, one of the longest rivalries in West Texas, the Coke County rivalry that dates back to 1927 when they first started playing. Last year, Robert Lee took the all-time series lead 52-51-4 over Bront. Should be another great one between those two schools next Friday night. All right, that'll do it for Week 5 of the Texas high school football season. We're officially over halfway through the regular season, and now the push to the playoffs begins to get real. District beginning for next week for a number of teams. In case you missed anything, want to watch it again, head over to our website, ConchoValleyHomepage.com. For all of us here at KLST, have a great weekend.
Catering for Friday Night Football is provided by Chick-fil-A. Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors. Closed captioning for the hearing impaired is sponsored by the Law Office of Rick DeHoyas.